What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I'm sitting in a hotel room in Utrecht in the Netherlands, getting ready to go and cast the One Piece European Finals. That's happening tomorrow and Sunday, and I am beyond excited about it. But we've actually had some big One Piece news that we need to be having a little bit of a chat about. And what am I going to do? Not cover the One Piece news just because I've gone to a different country to cover the One Piece Finals? Nah, mate, that does not sound like me. So, what we've got is we've got the alternate art leaders from EB-01, which are very exciting, and we'll get there in a minute. But first, we need to have a look at the Manga Rare, and it's Chopper. We kind of figured it was going to be Chopper. Chopper's on the booster pack of the set. This is one that we were expecting, but that doesn't mean that we don't think it's awesome. It's Manga Rare Chopper, and I think this could end up being one of the more popular ones. I don't know for certain. I can't tell you with absolute certainty, but I do think this is going to be one of the ones where people are a little bit more excited than your average Manga Rare. This one looks awesome. Obviously, we've already seen the alternate art by So-So, which is, well, So-So is the name of the artist. The art is not so-so. The art is absolutely brilliant. As for the manga, I mean, look, it's the same card. It's just mangified. And you know what? That sounds all right by me. It is not going to be up there on the level of Manga Luffy. And here's the thing, right? We've seen OP-05 and OP-05 is amazing, but let's not go thinking that OP-05 is the standard. OP-05 is absolutely not the standard. It was a set which was really celebrating the first anniversary of the game. It was an exceptional set. We didn't just have the manga Luffy, we also had the signed Luffy. It was a phenomenal set. This isn't that. This is a special set because it's our first extra booster, EB-01, but it's not on the level of OP-05. And I've said this many times, none of these sets are going to be on the level of OP-05. I don't think that's a controversial statement, but just the idea here that we get this Manga Chopper is absolutely brilliant. If anybody's forgotten what Chopper actually does, because it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it is still a playable card at the end of the day. We've got a free cost 4,000 power counter plus 1,000 blocker, and also Don X2, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during the turn. And I made this point a couple of times in relation to this card, but it fits beautifully with the Trafalgar Law Leader from Starter Deck 10, because that lets you put one of your opponent's characters of 3,000 power or less to the bottom of their deck. So using Chopper to lower their power means you can go after a 6,000, which is awesome. And you also get to play a character of a cost of 4 or less from your hand. And this is a 4-cost character, and it's a 4-cost blocker at that. So yeah, this seems cool. But as well as the Manga Chopper, because I don't know, apparently that's not exciting enough, we've also got the alternate art leaders from EB-01, and these are spectacular. And we're going to start off with Kuros, who is the one I really want to be getting here. And you're going to notice a couple of things. But the first thing you're going to notice here is the fact that they've gone back to OP-04. Now, in OP-06, which was the most recent set that actually released over in Japan, they kind of went back to manga heads. And I say kind of went back to manga heads because they're the same kind of style, but you'll notice they're not actually manga heads. These are new art done by phenomenal artists, and they're wonderful, and they're very similar to the manga heads we got in like OP-01 and OP-02 and OP-05, but they're not quite the same. Well, here they've basically gone back to the style we had in OP-04, and I have made absolutely no secret of the fact that in my eyes, OP-04 are the best leaders. The best alternate art leaders come from OP-04. Stylistically, they are the GOATs, and one of the two best is Rebecca. And look at this next to Kuros. Because if you've read the manga, watched the anime, and I've mentioned this a lot when we talk about these cards, it really is one of my favourite things about this card game. They really do make an effort where they can to really push this stuff. And you'll notice, hang on a second, they work kinda beautifully together. Because what we've got here is Kyros with what seems to be, and as always, if I'm being dumb here, let me know, but it seems to be two different versions of Rebecca. Because, of course, when we first meet Rebecca in the story, she's not the big gladiator that we come to know her as. She's a little bit different, a little bit more timid. And I'm pretty sure that's what we've got here. We've got Leader Kyros with your timid Rebecca who we first meet, and Warrior Rebecca who we come to know later, which I absolutely adore. Because, of course, and very, very minor spoiler here for the manga or anime if you've not watched it, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it, but obviously Kyros is the one-legged soldier. So when we look at Rebecca's art here, we've got the two different forms of Kyros, and when we look at Kyros' art, we've got the two different forms of Rebecca, and I love this. As for the card, because as previously mentioned, these are cards as well, we've got Activate Main. You may turn the top card of your life face up to KO one of your opponent's zero-cost characters. So you need to be playing around with those characters that will put a life on, face up, and then, using all of your black to lower down the cost so you get a zero cost. It is actually a very good yellow-black leader, because it kind of needs both of those colours to function properly. Now, we've also got Kuki Odin coming in, a little bit busier here. Kyros is not a very busy leader, neither was Rebecca. Here we've got a very busy leader with Kuki Odin and all of the others behind him. And I love this. And it's another one of those where if you're not familiar with the story of One Piece, you look at this and you're like, that's pretty cool. That's a nice piece of art. But if you are a big One Piece fan of the manga, the anime, etc., you're going to look at this and go, I know them, I know them, I know them. And you're going to be spotting all of these characters of which you're familiar. And that is awesome. Now, what Kuki Odin actually does is your characters that are Wano country that don't have a counter have plus 1,000 counter. It basically guarantees that all of your Wano characters have a counter, even if they shouldn't. And then Don X1, when attacking, if you have a cost 5 or higher Wano country character in play, you get 1,000 power until the start of your next turn. So, as soon as you reach a certain point in the game, you're going to be a 6,000 power leader, which is kind of awesome, and it is until the start of your next turn, which is crucial because it means you get that extra 1,000 on your opponent's turn, and of course that means they're going to have to do 1,000 more on all of their attacks to try and go through, which is a very big deal. And then of course we've also got the thing here whereby you've got counter on everything, which is a big deal, and I love it. And then we got Hannibal, which I feel about this like I felt about Queen in OP-04. And that is, why is Queen the leader with Kaido in the back? When Kaido is blatantly the leader, it's like this here. Like Hannibal is Magellan's second in command. It seems weird to have Hannibal standing there at the front with Magellan in the back. Seems a little bit weird. But once again, we've got the leader with the rest of the crew behind them. And I think what they did in OP-04 was the best way they've done leaders so far. I'm a huge fan of this. And only having 3 alternate art leaders means they should be slightly easier to collect. For me, I think I've been pretty clear about this, but just in case I haven't, I want Kyros. That is the one I'm going for. What Hannibal does, we've got ourselves blue-purple leader, and at the end of your turn, you may return one of your cost 2 or greater impound down characters to your hand, and then set up to 1 Don card from your Don deck as active. So you're bouncing characters back to reuse them, but also getting your Don activated as well, which sounds pretty gosh darn good to me. I'll be honest with you, playability-wise, Kyros is the one I most want to play around with. None of these strike me as characters or leaders I desperately want to build around. Although I'm going to be playing a bit of Kyros because, why not? But artwork-wise, we're being spoiled. Plus, we got a Manga Rare Chopper. And look, I know that this is not the biggest set. And yet it's, the same price as the others and all of that. But I'll be honest with you, my excitement for EB-01 is growing by the day. But now I've told you about it, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me how excited you are. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.